You know, I never understood why Konami binned Hideo Kojima. I mean, sure, he's about as sane as that one neighbour who enjoys doing landscape gardening at 3 in the morning with a chainsaw and a ski mask, but you can't deny he's made some absolutely incredible games. Games that have changed the gaming industry forever, and some games I think we'd all rather forget, looking at you, Death Stranding. Recently I've been playing a lot of Kojima games, a bit of a Kojima craze if you will, and it all started when I picked up a cheap key for Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Yeah, it's still not a word, is it? And I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread or cheese toasties. This led me to picking up a copy of Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, and I had literally no idea what's going on. Why is Snake in a hospital bed? Why does he have an eye patch? And why is there a bit of lead sticking out of his head? Which leads us to the subject of today's moderately funny review. Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, which for the sake of time I'm going to shorten to MGSVGZ. And for all intents and purposes, I actually really enjoyed this game, for what little there was of it. I remember one of the main criticisms of the game around the time of release was they were charging $40 for an hour of gameplay to desperately hold over Metal Gear fans until 1. Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain was ready for release, 2. In an attempt to make Metal Gear fans stop masturbating over MGS3, and third reason, because a lot of people were still foaming at the mouth because Metal Gear Rising was a hack and slash. It's still the best series in the game, guys, fuck you. Anyway, so what's the story of MGSVGZ Doom? Well, I don't know. I mean, it's safe to say I know next to nothing about the Metal Gear franchise. I've only ever played Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance and a little bit of MGS2. And for all of you Metal Gear Solid fans out there, well, what's left of you anyway after Konami ruined the series, look up from your spunk-encrusted copy of Metal Gear Solid 3 and start yelling at me. The reason why I haven't played many MGS games is because they don't grip me. MGS2 had a really strange fixed camera and the controls were a tad slippery for my liking, like trying to battle a lion whilst covered in butter from the popcorn you had earlier. And the good thing about Metal Gear Solid 5 is that it takes away the fixed cameras and does the same thing as Metal Gear Solid 4 by giving it a true third-person camera. I was of the opinion that the fixed camera didn't really work for an intense action game like Metal Gear Solid, so I'm really glad they removed it in Metal Gear Solid 4 and kept this design change for Metal Gear Solid 5. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, the story. You are Solid Snake, a very good stealth operative who has won the World Championship for the box hiding competition 4 years in a row, and your task was sneaking into a compound to break out 2 child soldiers of yours who were kidnapped. I think. Honestly, I thought the massive fuck-off death robots were a tad far-fetched, but this is something else. Now, as I stated earlier, I do actually really like this game, partly because I got it for £2 courtesy of G2A. Ah, G2A, where would I be without you? I mean, my Steam library wouldn't be nearly as chocker. That's probably the reason why I'm not complaining about the length. Personally, I don't mind short games, and this game held my attention long enough for me to complete the entire mission and somehow get a B rank, despite me taking out every single guard in a 15-mile radius. That's probably the only gripe I have, the difficulty. On normal, I found it far too easy. I mean, if I took it slow enough, I could sneak through anywhere. I mean, on my first playthrough, I managed to do the whole mission in only 3 retries without any of the enemies going into alert status. I will probably replay through the only mission there is on hard mode to see if there's any changes, once I'm done with this review of course. Another thing I really liked are the graphics. The textures, rain effects, animation and lighting effects are still really good for a 2014 game, and the animations are extremely fluid and detailed. Honestly, Snake has never snuck forward this elegantly. So, MGS5GZ. A game that's surprisingly good, if a little short. Shame that Metal Gear will never be the same again, what with Metal Gear Survive being the epitome of the task failed successfully meme, and Konami turning the remake of Metal Gear Solid 2 into a fucking slot machine. Huzzah! I'm okay. Could you call an ambulance? My back hurts. Are you still there? Hello? They're all gone, aren't they? Shit.